Have you ever seen a spread of 60%? Today, I'm going to show you a real trade where I went long on MEXC, short on Gate, and made over $100 in 10 minutes. And this isn't trading where we try to guess which way the price will go. This is pure math. So watch the video until the end. There will be a breakdown of the trade. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments. Alright, let's get started. The strategy is super simple, and it's called Futures Interexchange Arbitrage. The idea is to go long on one exchange where it's cheaper and go short on another exchange where the same token is more expensive. We're going to make money off the price difference. We trade the price divergence on the exchanges at the same time. If the price is way too high on one exchange and too low on another, we go long where the price is low and short where the price is high. When the prices even out, or the spread, which is the difference between the prices, gets really close to zero, we can close the position. And that spread, when it closes, turns into our profit minus the commission. This is what's called Futures Interexchange Arbitrage. Now let's move on to a specific trade, where I'll show you the price I entered at, where I opened the position, and how much I earned. Everything will be detailed with screenshots. Let's go. Check out this case with the Knight token. Here, I opened a long position on the MEXC exchange because the price was lower there. Look, our average entry point was 0.03595, and the average closing price was 0.03869. Accordingly, the price went up a bit, and on the MEXC exchange, we made $12.18. Now let's move on to another exchange, Exchange. Here, I managed to earn $93.74, so that's already over $100. That's about $105, roughly what I made just from two exchanges thanks to the price difference. The spread's over 60%, 61%. Look, at that same moment on Gate, the price was already 0.058, while the average closing price was 0.03718. So the average closing price is about the same. Yes, there is a small spread there, but in any case, we entered a short at the price of 0.058. So the price was higher there, and we opened a long at 0.035. We have a huge spread of 61% between the MEXC and Gate exchanges. Thanks to this spread, we managed to make $100, $105 on a small volume in just 10 minutes from this trade. And this is a real case, a real screenshot from the exchange where we entered this trade. And I found this trade using an arbitrage scanner. 60% spreads are extremely rare, but if they appear, you absolutely have to take those trades. Why do such price discrepancies even happen? Each exchange has its own market makers, trading volumes, and liquidity, and that's what causes the price differences. On one exchange, a token is being heavily sold, and the market makers can't keep up with adjusting the price, while on another exchange, it's being heavily bought. That's why these differences arise, these price gaps, spreads, and that's how we can make money. We're taking advantage of this inefficiency by helping the market and providing liquidity, and in return, the market pays us back. Such spreads often occur with new listings or low-cap tokens, like this Knight token. So if you see these kinds of trades, you need to pay attention to liquidity because sometimes the liquidity is very low. You just won't be able to get in. Liquidity is the trading volume. For example, if a token only has a trading volume of $1,000, you won't be able to enter with $1,000, and even getting in with $100 will be problematic because the token's liquidity is so low. So make sure that the trading volume is much higher than the amount you want to invest. Also, on the exchanges themselves, there's an order book where you can see the orders, how many tokens people want to buy at what price. And when these price inefficiencies converge, that spread turns into our profit. And to find these price inefficiencies, I use an arbitrage scanner. They include futures arbitrage and perpetuals arbitrage. I open up broad filters. Futures arbitrage? Here, the strategy is futures to futures, interexchange arbitrage. You go long on one exchange and short on another when there's a price difference. Here you can set up the buying exchanges where you have an account and the selling exchange where you'll sell the token. You can also set minimum and maximum profit, transaction amount, as well as the lifespan and whitelist. You can choose the currencies you want to arbitrage, blacklist the ones you don't want to arbitrage. By currencies, I mean tokens. So you can customize everything here in detail to suit your needs. There's also the spot futures strategy, which is very popular as well. You can make good money with it, and sometimes there's some really juicy spreads. At the bottom, there's a convenient table showing the spreads for each token. It displays the current token with the spread as well as the spread history. Check spread history to see how much it widens and if it closes. It shows where to buy, for instance, buy cheaper on Binance and short on Bing X for a 6.41% profit. And all of this is displayed for us in a convenient table. You can also check the funding rates, the trade's lifespan, and you can customize this table too. There's a gear icon here. You can select exactly the parameters you need in order to do arbitrage. And it's all in a convenient table format, so you don't have to monitor things manually. The software automatically monitors dozens of exchanges and thousands of tokens for you, and only shows you the ready-made spreads, which you can sort for yourself and choose the ones that interest you. Besides that, you can also set up notifications to your Telegram channel. So you configure the notifications and you'll get alerts about futures directly in your Telegram channel, meaning you don't even have to sit and monitor the arbitrage scanner yourself. You set up the notifications, and when a notification comes in, you see it and think, aha, there's a 5% spread here. And you realize, I have accounts on these exchanges. Okay, great, I'm entering this trade. You enter, wait for the prices to converge, and then take your profiting. This is the simplest, laziest arbitrage strategy, because usually inter-exchange arbitrage, where you buy cheaper, transfer to another exchange, and sell at a higher price, rarely works now and isn't as effective as futures arbitrage. Because look, with futures arbitrage, you're not moving funds between exchanges. You already have a deposit on one exchange and on the other exchange. Your only task is to enter the trade. But with regular inter-exchange arbitrage, you need to buy the token and transfer it. So you also pay a network transfer fee, then wait for the token to arrive, and by the time it does, the spread is already closed. So you end up spending a lot of time on this. That's why futures arbitrage is more efficient, more advanced, and works better than regular inter-exchange arbitrage. Besides that, there's also arbitrage scanners for arbitrage between CX and DEX. You can set up all sorts of screeners and scanners for this. There's also funding rates. This is truly a universal software that has all the information you specifically need. Look, here's funding rate arbitrage too. I often make videos and talk about it. This is also a top strategy for passive income. Here we have a spread on the BDX token of 1.51%. We can check what the current funding rates are on different exchanges. For example, on MEXC, you see the funding rate is positive. Let's look at other exchanges. On CoinEx, it's minus 1.5. So on CoinEx, since the funding rate is negative, we go long because a negative funding rate means there are a lot of short sellers. These short sellers pay the long holders for opening the opposite position. Funding is a mechanism that aligns the futures price with the spot price. So the exchange uses these mechanisms to balance the price, and we can make money from that. That's why where the funding is negative, we go long, and where it's positive, we go short, earning up to 11% every 8 hours, sometimes even more often on our position. Basically, we don't even have to guess where the price will go, whether it converges or not. It doesn't matter to us at all. We just go in, buy tokens for a certain amount on one exchange, and on another exchange we enter with the same amount of tokens. So we're in a hedge position. We have identical trades open, both long and short. That means we're not dependent on the market price movement, we're just waiting for the funding to be credited. Once the funding is credited to our position, we can close the trade and enjoy the profit. That's how you can earn money with funding in the simplest way possible. All of this is shown by the Arbitrage Scanner. The link to it is in the description, so make sure to give it a try. It's top-notch software. Every arbitrage trader will find something interesting here. Let's go over the risks again. The first one is liquidity. As I mentioned, if a token has very low trading volume, you won't be able to enter with a large amount. You need to pay attention to the trading volume. For example, if a token has a trading volume of $30,000, you can easily enter with $1,000. But if the token's trading volume is only $1,000, you won't be able to enter with $1,000. So you need to watch the trading volume. The higher the trading volume, the more liquid the token is, and the larger the amount you can invest in it. The second risk is funding. Funding might not be in your favor. You might open a long position, but if the funding rate is positive, it'll eat into your profits. That's why it's also important to keep an eye on funding so it doesn't eat up your position. The third risk is that the price might not align right away, meaning this price spread or divergence can last quite a while, an hour, even 2 hours. Because of this, you could end up stuck in the trade. You'll have to wait a long time. Fourth, the spread can widen further. For example, if you enter at 60% but tokens diverge more, the spread grows. This results in a loss. You must wait, sometimes a long time, until prices return to your entry or the spread narrows so you can profit. And the fifth risk is that the exchange might block your account if you go into some super abnormal spreads. There are spreads as high as 100%, even 200%. If you frequently take advantage of such spreads, the exchange might put risk control in your account, meaning they could block it for risk management reasons, and then you'll have trouble withdrawing your funds. So it's better not to go into super abnormal spreads at all. And if you do, use only a small amount. So for this trade, I made $105 just because the price difference was 61%. And this isn't a guessing game about where the price will go, it's pure math, and thanks to the Arbitrage Scanner, you can look for these kinds of spreads. If you like this strategy and want more real-life cases, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now to get even more useful content about crypto arbitrage. And also use the Arbitrage Scanner because it's an indispensable tool for every arbitrage trader. It will find spreads for you. You'll be able to choose from the ready-made spreads yourself, decide which ones you want to enter, and collect profits from the crypto market every day. Thanks for watching until the end. All useful links are in the description. My Telegram channel, the Arbitrage Scanner, and also a promo code that will double your subscription. So go down, check them out, and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye everyone!